It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today is 21 April and we're going to be looking at Trump is hopeful that Russia and Ukraine will make a deal this week. The Pentagon chief Hegseth has shared sensitive information in a second signal check, says source. And the Israeli military has found professional failures in the killing of Gaza medics. So firstly, US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that he is hopeful a deal can be struck this week without specifying what the arrangement would entail. Hopefully, Russia and Ukraine will make a deal by the end of this week, he wrote in all capital letters on his Truth Social platform. Both will then start doing business with the United States of America, which is thriving and makes a fortune, he said. Trump has called on Kiev and Moscow to show willingness to compromise in the war to bring peace to the region. On Saturday, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a brief ceasefire for the Easter holidays, but both sides have pointed the fingers at each other, accusing them of breaking the truce. Additionally, Russia has announced that they will not extend the ceasefire beyond Sunday. So what? I think it's unlikely that there's going to be a truce without some pretty significant changes to what is currently being looked at. The line in the sand is Ukraine doesn't want to give up land without some kind of significant security promises from the US and Europe, and Russia will never accept American or NATO troops in Ukraine, as this is what likely started this entire conflict. So that would be a massive failure. I don't see how Trump thinks he's going to get around this. So far, it just appears like Putin has been delaying these talks while continuing to gain ground against Ukraine. However, the Russian economy is in an absolute shit state, and their military currently lacks the hardware it would require to conduct a pretty significant assault on the Ukrainian positions, which are doing a reasonably good job at active defense, which is basically trying to kill Russians as they advance and slowly ceding ground. But yeah, I don't see how Trump thinks he's going to get this deal across the line in the next week without possibly strong-arming Ukraine into accepting giving up massive territory for nothing. But Europe has made it clear they're going to back Ukraine, so we will see. And next, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared details of a March attack on Yemen's Iranian-aligned Houthi rebels in a message group that included his wife, brother, and personal lawyer. A source familiar with the matter told Reuters on Sunday. The revelations of a second group chat raise more questions about Hegseth's use of unclassified messaging systems to share highly sensitive security details, and comes at a particularly delicate moment for him, with senior officials ousted from the Pentagon last week as part of internal leak investigations. In the second chat, Hegseth allegedly shared details of attacks similar to those revealed in the first. The person familiar with the matter, who was speaking on the condition of anonymity, said that the second chat included about a dozen people and was created during his confirmation process to discuss administrative issues rather than detailed military planning. The chat includes details of scheduled airstrikes, the person said. So what? This was one of the biggest questions I had out following the first group chat leak. It was around how many more group chats are there and what was being said in there. While the information in the first, in my opinion, was classified at the time he put it in there, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's clearly a pretty common practice of using signal to discuss events and situations like this within high-level leadership, and apparently now within the family members and other personal acquaintances, none of which are cleared to know any of that information. It seems quite possible that this could be the final nail in the coffin for his short tenure at leadership, but Trump is pretty radical in his decision making, so it's also possible that he might survive. But there's going to be some pretty serious questions raised around the control of sensitive information, especially from the allies and partners who are classifying information that he could possibly see and then leak himself to random people, by the sounds of it. While there's currently no proof of this group chat, I think it's pretty likely that there will be an internal investigation conducted into it, and we will see. So wait out on that. And lastly, the Israeli military on Sunday said a review into last month's killing of emergency responders in Gaza found there had been several professional failures and that a commander would be dismissed over the incident. The 15 paramedics and rescue workers were shot dead on March 23 in 3 separate shootings at the same location near the southern Gazan city of Rafah. They were buried in a shallow grave where their bodies were found a week later by officials from the United Nations and the Palestinian Red Crescent. In a statement on Sunday, the military said a commanding officer is to be reprimanded. A deputy commander, a reservist who was the field commander, will also be dismissed from his position for providing an incomplete and inaccurate report, they said. In the examination identified several professional failures, breaches of orders, and failure to fully report the incident, the military said. The military advocate The Military Advocate General was conducting its own investigation and criminal charges could be pursued, according to the military. A video recovered from a mobile phone of one of the dead men and published by the Palestinian Red Crescent showed uniformed emergency responders and clearly marked ambulances and fire trucks with their lights on being fired upon by soldiers. So what? This is a pretty shocking incident and absolutely is just one of many that destroys the IDF's credibility, which is just sad and shocking to see. And it's like military conflicts are extremely complex and difficult to deal with, but incidents like this and then attempting to cover them up are just unacceptable. I do hope that all the people involved are held to account and punished accordingly to show is just a way of showing that they shouldn't stand for incidents like this. While critics of the IDF will always continue to say that this just shows a deeper issue within the IDF. While critics of the IDF will always say that this investigation was only conducted because of the discovery of the video and its publication online, them actually conducting an interview and holding people to account is a good way of showing that they are a professional military that attempts to hold their personnel to some kind of legal standard, which is not something you see from the other side. It's a pretty long road for building back the credibility of the IDF, as some of their actions, such as this, have been pretty unprofessional, but conducting investigations and holding people to account is the only way to ensure that you have a just and fair military, even when conducting quite extreme urban conflict. Hopefully the IDF can do more to ensure that situations like this do not occur in the future, and they can build back their credibility on the world stage. But that is a long road. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. See you.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.